Hello and welcome to anyone and everyone who has decided to watch this video. Today I'm going to be rambling on about Transformers Age of the Primes Walmart exclusive Cybertron Excellion, part of the yearly Walmart subcapsule dedicated to my first and one of my favorite Transformers series, Transformers Cybertron. And this was an interesting figure to see them make. It wasn't that shocking, though, because we did get a new Hotshot based on the Cybertron design. And interesting to see him as a Walmart exclusive, because he was a Walmart exclusive in the past, actually. So, interesting return to exclusivity for this character. And interesting subcapsule that dedicated solely to one series, one that I know at least some of the people on the current Transformers team are big fans of, and I am also a big fan of, but it's a shockingly small subcapsule, because seemingly it's only going to be two figures, this guy and Sideways. Sideways, who I would be talking about in this video as well, except I got my first ever Walmart pre-order cancellation, something I've heard is infamous in the toy community space, but it's never happened to me before, and apparently it's happening with a lot of people when it comes to Sideways, but Excellion has been coming through just fine, so who knows. And there were also leaks saying we're supposed to get a Skywarp out of that Starscream Voyager they did based on Cybertron, but that hasn't been officially revealed at all. There's been no images, no proof of it, so who knows if we're actually going to get that or not, or if this is going to be a Velocitron toy-accurate hot rod, and it just never comes out. But Excellion, who is this? What is this, if you do not know what this is? This was a repaint of Hotshot, released in the Cybertron toy line, obviously, to fill out space in the waves for America, that actually has an interesting history, because it is inspired off of a Japanese Lucky Draw release. And if you don't know what that is, Lucky Draw is a thing they used to do in Japan. I don't think they do it anymore, where they hold contests where they make like an extremely limited run of a special version of a toy. And Excellion is actually what Hotshot is called in the Japanese version of Transformers Cybertron. The show is called Galaxy Force over there. And I believe it's only in Cybertron he's called that. I don't know what he's called in Armada and Enjan. I think he is just Hotshot in those shows. But, like, Cybertron, even though it was kind of advertised as the third part in the Unicron trilogy, it really is its own timeline. So for us, this is just that universe's Hotshot. Although the TF Wiki will pretend it's the same universe as the previous two shows. But in Japan, it was Excellion. And since Transformers is first and foremost Hasbro's property, so unless Hasbro wants Japanese fiction to become a widespread part of the main multiversal canon, the Hasbro version is what goes. So this is Hotshot. And Excellion became this. And he did show up in at least one Timelines comic, so he does have a little bit of fiction to him. It's not that much. It's just he's an Autobot soldier. Woo. And I like to headcanon him as being a member from Velocitron, from the Speed Planet, who was inspired by the Autobots and decided to join their ranks. That's just my own little headcanon for him. But he is not one-to-one with the Lucky Draw toy, to get back to that, since I mentioned that. Because that figure was straight up just, we took every hue on Hotshot and changed the colors. So like the blue was red, the gray was actually a brownish red, no flames at all. And the inspiration Hasbro took was to do a bit of a Hot Rod homage, or more of a proper Hot Rod homage, because this original design always kind of feels like a blue Hot Rod. I don't know how intentional that was or not, but obviously the Cyber Planet key gimmick for him, instead of being missiles like it is for every other character, or lights and sounds, was these turbo boosting spoiler wings, which gives him a very hot roddy look. Of course, you can't really see these much in robot mode, but they're meant for car mode anyway. And they look even more hot roddy on this release of Excellion than the original, because on the original, these were clear blue, like his weapon. And here they're orange, because they're on the same tooling as the parts of the robot that need to be orange. So I do prefer the orange spoilers, because it makes him feel more properly like my boy Hot Rod Rodimus, my favorite Transformer of them all. Even though Rodimus has a yellow spoiler, but whatever. Excellion is still his own character to me, his own canon. But I would be totally down with him being a version of Hot Rod, because I do love this design. And I think this release of the new toy, the Legacy mold for Hotshot, get him back in frame, I like this Excellion release way more than this Hotshot release. I think the Hotshot release is good, but there's a lot of weird stuff to him. Like, his yellow paint is very faded on the blue, and that annoys me a lot, whereas this more gold paint up here, and he's got silver paint for his headlights instead, because they're reusing the gold for the front, just looks really good on him. I like this more gray here compared to the silver on Hotshot. I legitimately just like this version of the mold better. And even though Cybertron was my first Transformers series, I didn't really start getting Transformers toys until the 07 movie. Like, the only Cybertron toy I ever had was Scattershot, because they reissued him. But if I knew about Excellion, then I would have wanted Car Hotshot as Excellion, because I prefer Cybertron Hotshot in his cyber defense form anyway. So I'm definitely down with this car version of Hotshot being a different new character. But yeah, I just think it looks better. It's even got painted rims, which Hotshot didn't have. I wish this area was painted, but it's supposed to not be. It's always just been one color, even on the original. I do like the look of the blue windshield as well, compared to the yellow. It's a little bit harder to see what's in there. I mean, you can still very much see the robot face in the driver's area, which is still pretty funny. But yeah, I just think this is an overall better looking car and just a better looking toy. Hotshot does have a painted gun, but Excellion's gun was all blue on the original, so you could say they're being accurate. And we got a painted cyber key. The cyber planet key is painted, which that is really cool to see, since Hotshot's wasn't and Starscream's wasn't either. And we haven't had any other cyber planet keys yet. I guess Sideways must come with one, but since we don't have Sideways, we don't know if his is painted or not. It is blue, which is wrong for the Speed Planet key. Hotshot got it right, making it red, and I think Hotshot's, I say that, yeah, Hotshot's is actually painted because it's yellow like the rest of it's translucent. So I guess that's why the silver isn't done up, because it's already sprayed all over in red plastic to be red. So I guess I'd rather have an inaccurate color to the key and get the silver parts painted in than this, where you just can't see anything. But yeah, I've definitely talked enough about the vehicles, cars, rambling on. I'm not gonna bother correcting myself or getting it right. Let's just get to the robot modes. Robots. Robot feats. The rest of the robots. Zooming out a bit. And yeah, again, seeing the two side by side, and I think Excellion just looks way better than Hotshot. Something about his blue, which normally I like the blue. I think Cybertron Hotshot is a really cool design, even though I prefer the Cybertron Defense version. I still like this design. I normally think it looks really cool when I rewatch the show and stuff. It's just something about this toy. The blue came out very weird to me. I don't really like it, but Excellion, I think Excellion looks good. I think he looks really good with his mixes of red and orange, and the only real problem with him is, since he is meant to be a new character, the face, the head being basically the exact same. I think it's even, no, he does use a brighter shade of silver for his face, which explains why he picks up light so much better than Hotshot. So there is a little bit of a difference between the heads. But I mean, they're the same sculpt, and that combined with the fact that they didn't change, well, I guess they did change the color to a brighter shade of gray, but the fact that his torso is still gray instead of like that orangey brown that it was on the Lucky Draw version does sometimes make it hard to see this guy as a new character from Hotshot. I still think he's cooler as a new character than just being Lava Planet Hotshot, which is something to say because I do like wacky variants like that when it's like just the character in different colors. I loved that in the 07 movie line, but I definitely think Excellion is more interesting as his own guy than just another Hotshot, even though he is another Hotshot. But I just think he looks better. I think the red pops way better than the blue does on the Legacy toy. Again, the painted rims add so much. I like the way his shoulders are painted a lot better with the silver compared to the bits of red. And I don't know why, but I really like the yellow crest in his chest more than the red. That one is very much personal preference. I mean, these are all personal preference. But I just think this is a much more striking toy. Something I can point out, since this new version has removable doors, so I can have more weapon ports, I guess, even though there are weapon ports on the doors. You can swap them out if you want. I should have showed that off in the vehicle commodes. Let's quickly putting in a picture of them in the vehicle modes with the doors swapped. And get back to the robots. So you can do this if you want. Make a patchwork car if you feel like it. I mean, that might do something for you. This mold is still a little bit flawed. I think it's a good mold, but probably the weakest Cybertron update we've gotten, just made better through this better color scheme. Mostly because of the arms doing the weird thing where you have to shift the doors out of the way to bend them properly. I just don't get why that's a thing, and they're still kind of hitting the wheels. At least this arm is, because it's holding the gun. This one clears just fine. The leg transformation is still more complicated than it needs to be. It could just go up and down on a slider like the original toy, but no, it has to do the Combiner Wars scissor thing, which I'm not against on Transformers toys, but this toy has no reason to do that. And I feel like it kind of takes away from the dynamics of this design, at least when it comes to its transformation. Why do I have this foot folded out like that? But maybe that's just nostalgia of watching the show all the time as a kid and seeing those awesome dynamic transformation sequences of the characters in the void and having those stuck in my head. And another thing you'll point out with how Hotshot was almost falling over. I feel like Excellion, at least my copy, has way better tolerances than Hotshot, because his feet do fold up from time to time, but nowhere near as much as Hotshot. He stands flat way more. He stands way better, whereas Hotshot is always wanting to tumble forward, because his feet keep wanting to fold back in for the transformation. And this back tab thing, which I'm still not a big fan of, again, it holds on better with Excellion for some reason than it does on Hotshot. I don't get why. So the mold is not suddenly a winner. Like, Hotshot wasn't one of my favorite toys of 2024. Excellion will not be one of my favorites of 2025, probably. I mean, I'm really liking 2025's toy rollout. And I like Excellion a lot. I doubt he's going to be in my top 10 when he's a repaint of a toy that was just alright from last year. But I do appreciate him. I definitely think he is an upgrade. And, yeah, I just like everything on him more. I think the red looks way better than the blue. I think his orange looks way better than Hotshot's red. I just think he's a better version of this toy overall. And if you don't have this mold yet, I think you should go with the Excellion version. Even if you just want him to be your version of Hot Rod and pretend you just have this interesting, different looking version of Hot Rod, or you play with him as Excellion. Also, I should bring this up since he was a repaint of Hotshot, who is not from Speed Planet, but has a Speed Planet key. Do we think before they decided to go with the Excellion name as a callback to the Japanese version of the character that this paint scheme was inspired by, that this was going to be Hotshot for that, what's it called? The Nitro series or whatever name they gave it, of all the Speed Planet characters getting repainted? Like Crumple Zone being black with flames, which that one was actually in the show. Or like that black and silver Override, or that cool green version of Ransack. He wasn't actually green, he just had green wheels. Or like the turquoise version of Breakdown. And I don't remember what color Clocker was in that series. Maybe Clocker didn't have a release in that series. Dirt Boss didn't. Do we think that maybe he was originally going to be in that series and then just became a mainline release? Because according to the TUF Wiki, Excellion was first released under mainline, and then in 07, when they were getting toys out there quickly by reissuing Energon and mostly Cybertron stuff to catch with the high of the 07 movie, they did a bunch of Walmart exclusive Versus packs, and they did one of Excellion with Thundercracker. So again, he was a Walmart exclusive before, and he's a Walmart exclusive again. Do I have anything else I need to say? For some reason I feel like I do, but I'm just blanking. Yes. I remember now. This guy, it's really cool to see him again. I love obscure characters. Of course, Hot Rod Rodimus Prime is my favorite character ever, so getting this character that's clearly a visual homage to him is pretty cool, even though I get plenty Hot Rod Rodimuses, at least enough to keep me satisfied, but it's still cool to see this homage to him return. But at the same time, this is kind of proof that the modern team, although they do like to flex their creative muscles from time to time, they definitely don't do it as much as the team working on Cybertron did, because they could have come up with some new repaints for Cybertron Hotshot if they wanted. Something brand new, maybe a new character. I've always said that this should be done as the Decepticon Vehicle Pretender. I'm sadly blanking on his name right now, because he's like the Pretender I don't think about as much. I don't remember every single late G1 character, because I'm not a G1 fan, but I think he'd be great just because his vehicle shell is a car, and that car looks like the Cybertron Hotshot car, so you could just like remold the chest to look like the inner robot of that original toy and put a new head on it, and then just do them up all in purple and have the inner robot parts be blue, because I believe the inner robot, the transforming robot from that Pretender, was blue, but he had like a purple car. It looks so good. It'd be so cool to see. But they clearly just did Excellion again because they just like to redo every repaint every previous iteration of a mold has ever worn. That said, I would be okay if this mold gets re-released again as Shattered Glass Goldbug, even though we just got him with the Bumblebee Cliffjumper mold from Legacy, not Legacy Earthrise. But I'd rather have Shattered Glass Goldbug in this style again. But if this winds up in Studio Series, redone as Getaway, I will call foul. I don't care that Getaway from Allspark Power or the 07 movie line, I forget which one of those two lines he was in the tie-in comics. If this mold winds up in a Studio Series box in white and red, that's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be ridiculous. But overall, I've gone longer than I want to with rambling on about this toy. I just like the toy. I think it is the better version of this toy. I definitely think it is worth it if you have any interest in Transformers Cybertron. And yeah, if you don't have this Hotshot yet, I definitely think you should get it. I do think he is the superior release, and I hope to get my Sideways. So, I've definitely rambled on enough here. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys around.
Greetings, human germs. It is I, Skywarp. Lord Megatron demands that you subscribe to this channel. If you do, then you may be spared from the Decepticon conquest of Earth. You would be wise to do as he says.